This is significant. Let's go see what it does. So you guys have suffered through many hours of montages of people picking up motorcycles just to show you what they got. Well, I'm going to skip all that and run right to the project. There you go. There's the 1994 EX500 Ninja. What do you think, guys? I started working on it already. I apologize, but it was dark, cold, and I figured let's start a series. Can we get it running or responding while it's still loaded in the van? I don't know. Should we call the series something like that? Here we are, guys. Introduction to the newest project. You are looking at a 94 Kawasaki Ninja EX500. You know, this thing ran from 1987 through 2009. Very few changes, but this is the year that they updated it. I know this one looks like it's seen some better days, but the paint is pretty nice. Somebody did their custom job on it, replaced the turn signals. We have a lot of work to do. Looks good on the outside. Here is the tank. So anyway, we'll go over this at another time. But when I first get a vehicle, first thing I want to do is try and see if there's power. And this one did not come with the key. So the first thing I tried to do, I know I worked on this thing already, ripped it apart. I'm sorry, it was dark, it was cold, and as you can see, we're still in the van. I wanted to try and get something out of this bike before I took it out of the van. So, excuse me. Okay. First thing I wanted to do, get a key code, if I could, off of one of the locks. Now, this is a Kawasaki, so we're looking for a Z code, be about a 4-digit code, and it should be on the barrel of the lock. But no matter what I tried to do, I could not get this lock out. It has these real tiny little screws up in there, and I don't even know what bit you would have to use to get them out. I tried and tried, and just so I didn't round them off and make a mess, I decided to go after another lock. Now, found out that can be a real problem, because when the fairings are on here, you have the fairings down the side. I'll put up a picture of this bike originally. So the fairings come down here, the tank's here, the seat's there. Well, the seat locks down into place. That's how this bike was set up. The seat was locked in, and that creates a problem because, let me show you the other locks on this bike. The seat lock is on this side. I actually have it off. I was able to get to it. And then you have helmet locks on either side, which I don't even know if these have a code on them. They might or might not. I have not been able to get them off yet. Well, now I don't know. I was able to get one bolt out. Oh no, this is a knob that lets in there. But to get the bolt off, you would have to get the lock mechanism out of the way, and if you don't have a key, you can't very well get to that bolt. I got lucky on this one, and I might have had to break a few things if I wasn't lucky. The tank was not bolted down. This is exactly how it was. I was able to lift the tank up and slide the seat out from under this bracket, which, as I see, is not even connected. So that helped me out too. So the tank I was able to pull off. By the way, it was not even connected. The fuel petcock is in a bag at my feet here. So there's the fuel petcock that was sitting down here under the seat. So I was able to get the seat lifted up high enough that I could reach under here with a tool and actually pull the seat lock backwards so I could lift the seat off. What that did for me was gave me access in here behind the fairings to get the bolts off, which I could have just taken the fairings off before, and I would have had to get the seat off anyway, but I could have taken the fairings off to get these bolts out. Now I will show you the lock mechanism. Here's the lock mechanism, and the code, without trying to give you away the code on my bike, is printed right here. Can barely see it because of the corrosion, and it's not going to focus in here, but I will just tell you the lock is on, the key code is right there. You can kind of see it a little bit. There you go. It's etched into this thing. So if this is okay and you can get the code off of it, this might be your ticket to get a key made for this bike. Now, this is a 94. I don't know how many owners it's been through, but I can tell you that that key might work for that lock mechanism, but it may not be the same one for the ignition. I just bought another bike that has a aftermarket ignition and no key, so there's no way I can get a key made for that bike and the aftermarket ignition system. So I don't know if the key is gonna work on these guys or on the ignition, or even, well, it does work for the seat. So at least I can get my seat off. Okay, that aside, first thing I do is get a manual. I already have a manual for this bike because we have one for the 1991 that we're working on. So here's the 94, and as I showed you, the key arrived today. So we have a manual, we now have a key. So let's see if it even fits in the ignition and does any magic here. All right, so key is so new. Okay, it fits in the ignition and it turns. Hey, we got a key for this bike. We'll have to put power to it and see if we have power. Ugh, okay, it's so new, it just, whew. Okay, well that's good. It works in the ignition. So I have power hooked up to this thing. And let's see, now that we have everything opened up, if we have power to the bike. So I got my positive red to the lead, red lead, obviously no battery. And we have negative running to the negative lead. We're gonna turn the power on my cheapo box. All right, power's to the bike. Let's see if we have power to the bike. No power. No power, no power. Okay, next thing to check. Let's go to the fuse box and see what we got. All right, all 10s, and there's a 30. 30. Well, that's just a spare. Okay, so the main fuse is not in here. We have to find the main fuse. On a lot of bikes, that ends up being right by your starter solenoid. Typically on the left side of the motorcycle. And here we go. This does say fuse. It does say fuse there. I'm sorry, this is not focusing in the dark. Okay, so fuse, and it even says 30 amp fuse. Okay, so there she's hiding. All right, so if this fuse is bad, that could be why it won't turn on. All right. If you watch my video on the Suzuki VX500, you'll know. I don't know, even if this fuse looks good, it could be bad. So we're gonna set that down there. We have a spare fuse to try here, so let's throw that in here and see if we can get power to this thing. Okay. Spare fuse that came with the bike is installed. Let's throw this down on. Stick that back into place. Okay. All right, guys. if I don't have to dig into this thing any more than just flipping a fuse around, we will be in good shape. Let's see, is this off? Turn my power back on. Make sure my connectors are good. Okay, everything's connected. Let's see what we get now. We have lights. Whoa, we're good. Okay. All right, well, we have dash lights and we have an oil light, which should be on. Neutral, that's good. We're in neutral. Gauges on this thing are pretty cool. Nice update from the original. We have a temp gauge, miles, trip meter. All right, so there's not a lot we want to do right now. But let's check the horn. Horn works. Left turn signal is not working for some reason. Turn signal right is not working for some reason. Will it crank? Whoop. I may not have enough power to the bike to run it. This is just a good little initial. Well, starter solenoid works. Just might not have enough power to run completely. So, good to know. I'm surprised the turn signals don't work. They should work. Let's see, do we have a headlight? We wouldn't, I guess we wouldn't have a headlight if it's not running. All right, well, that's enough for me for the day. I'm happy to see that we actually do have power. I'll throw a battery in it. There's a lot more to do to this, but good to know that we actually have power. That's a great place to start. All right, so we have a key that works and power. I'm happy with that. Watch for more progress on this 1994 Kawasaki Ninja. They did do some nice upgrades to this from the 91. Got wider tires, larger tires, refreshed fairing. Oh, we have a disc brake in the back. As far as maintenance, the chain's pretty rusty, and we have some things to address. The carbs, another carb project. We're probably gonna have to pull those out. And the tank is full of rust, dry rust. You can hear it. That's the tarp underneath. It's full of rust. And I need to see if the key works in here. It wasn't turning easily when I tried it. We'll lube up this lock. It turns it, so I think it's good. It's just rusty, so I'll have to put some lube in there, see if I can free this up. It's probably just stuck on the actual lock, not the key. Anyway, all right, I'm happy with that. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, follow for more of the Kawasaki Ninja build. That's going to be a project too. Happy trails!